Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here. In today's video, I've got some emulation updates for you. We have 4 different emulators for 2 different systems, PS2 and Nintendo Switch. Let's get started. Alright, we'll kick things off here with everyone's favorite PS2 emulator on Android, AetherSX2. Now these updates haven't hit the Google Play Store just yet, but I assume they'll probably be hitting it pretty soon. So currently there are 9 things being added to this update, and the very first point here is going to get a lot of people excited. And when I say a lot, I really mean a lot. It says bug fixes for Mali GPUs in both Vulkan and OpenGL renderers, and it was tested on a Pixel 6. So obviously if you have a Google Pixel 6, you'll like this update. But the bigger picture here, the Mali GPUs. There are a lot of people with Mali GPUs complaining about AetherSX2 performance. And it looks like progress is being made extremely quickly here, and things will get a lot better if you have a Mali. The second thing here is texture preloading performance improvements. Fix a bug where constant registers get incorrectly flushed. Add memory card creation activities, settings, and per game memory card overrides. That is actually a really big one. Disable texture barriers by default on Adreno. Too many broken drivers. Prevent Vulkan being used on old drivers which are missing required formats. Minor optimizations to VU dispatch, which is about a 10% improvement for Ratchet & Clank. Fix error reporting when loading incompatible save states, and also adding a save state manager. So if you want to be on the bleeding edge here and want to take a look at these updates before they hit the Google Play Store, you absolutely can. The developer Talworth does recommend you wait until it hits the Google Play Store officially, and then that way you're not encountering any weird glitches that may or may not have been worked out. So I'll leave a link to this site in the description below. The current build we're talking about here at the time of filming is 11.3.20 Alpha-1058. As a quick sneak peek here, this is what the Save State Manager will look like. It's a brand new option on the main menu for AetherSX2, and when you click on it, you'll be able to see every single save state you have for every single game. From here, you can load it or delete it. Moving on here, but keeping on the topic of PS2 emulation on Android, and we have the second best PS2 emulator on Android, and that is Play. Play just got an update here. As for what's new with this update, they say there's some compatibility improvements here, for example, Ape Escape. They fixed regression in Bakugan, I never say that right. And also, reworked frame limiter code should help with performance in some games. If you haven't checked out Play, the PS2 emulator, I do recommend at least giving it a shot. Performance isn't anywhere near where AetherSX2 is, but at the same time, this emulator is free and it is improving. I'm glad we have choices here, and I'm glad things are improving, and I am all for supporting the community, so I have downloaded it, I've given it a shot, and I continue to pay attention to it. Next up here, we're moving on to my favorite Nintendo Switch emulator on Android, and that would be Skyline. Skyline is improving, and this is more of a progress update than anything. The last time we talked about Skyline, we talked about how they got Sonic Mania up and running for it. Well, the developers have been extremely hard at work behind the scenes, and improvements keep being made. The last I've heard here, they've gotten V, I think is how you say the name of the game. They've gotten that game to work. They're working on games like Stardew Valley and trying to make things a heck of a lot better. Any progress on this is extremely good progress in my books. I'll be paying really close attention to Skyline here in the future because I am rooting for them. And last but definitely not least here, we're sticking with Nintendo Switch emulation, but switching over systems. We're going from Android to PC, and we're talking about Ryujinx. Ryujinx just released their progress update for December, and there are some very interesting improvements here. First up here, just a reminder that Ryujinx's amiibo emulation is almost perfect. They are just finalizing a few things on it, but at this point in time, it is extremely impressive. The big updates here are the fact that they've made some huge progress with Vulkan. In fact, Vulkan is outperforming OpenGL up to 25% in Breath of the Wild, which is a huge number in terms of emulation. This is really good. I guess bad news if you don't use Vulkan, but extremely good news if you have that option. So taking a look at OpenGL versus Vulkan in a little bit more detail here, in this person's specific build, they were getting 48 frames a second using OpenGL on Breath of the Wild 2. Switching over to Vulkan, and they got up to 58, almost 59 frames a second. That is a 10 frames a second improvement, which is massive. And looking at Mario Kart 8, and things get even better here. Using OpenGL, they were getting 29, almost 30 frames a second. Switching over to Vulkan, and they bumped up to 57 frames a second. That is massive. Additionally here, they've made some more improvements to things like the YouTube app, where this is before and this is after. And they've made some updates to shaders and textures, and by some I mean quite a bit. This is before, and well, this is after. Here's another before, and this is after. And surprisingly here, they've also made improvements to an emulator within an emulator. So this is using Nintendo Switch Online. This is before, and well, this is after. This looks correct. The last thing we'll go over here is the fact that Ryujinx has added volume controls, so you no longer have to change the volume of your games through your system menu on your PC. You can do everything now within Ryujinx, and as a bonus here, F2 is a toggle for mute. Now, I went over these Ryujinx progress updates at an extremely high level. If you want to learn more about them, if you want to read more into detail on these, I'll leave a link to this progress report in the description below, and I do recommend checking it out. At the end of the day here, 2022 is kicked off extremely strong in terms of emulation, and I am all for it. Anyways, that is all I've got for this one. Short, sweet, and to the point, all stuff and no fluff. Let me know your thoughts about this news in the comments below. We've got AetherSX2, Play, Ryujinx, and Skyline. So let me know about all of them in the comments below. What are your thoughts about these updates? If I missed something, please let me know in the comments below and I might cover it in a future video. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button, check out my other videos. Thank you everyone, take care.